Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of learning Bhagavad Gita. I have been reading Bhagavad Gita for past 10 years and I have been benefiting from these teachings, and I want to share with you. The topic today I want to discuss is which Bhagavad Gita should we read? Which is a very interesting question, and I want to give you the answer as I have learned. Mm, and I would love to hear from you if you have any comments or a different view. So let's see. I want to share a PPT and then move with it. So, mm, so which Bhagavad Gita to read? So, we will be discussing different topics today: activity versus motivation, what is Bhagavad Gita, which Bhagavad Gita to read, and why. So, activity, I go biking is an activity. And what's my motivation to go biking? My motivation could be I like to bike, I really love to bike. My motivation could be my friends are going biking and I want to hang out with them. My motivation could be hey, I'm feeling bored, I have nothing else to do, so let me go biking. So there is an activity that we all do, and there is a motivation that's driving us to do that activity. Now, we will take this concept and apply it to our Bhagavad Gita. Why, which Bhagavad Gita to read and why? So, to answer this question, we need to look at what exactly is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a user manual to live a human life. And which user manual would we choose? If I have an Apple iPhone, I would not go and look at an Android user manual to use my Apple phone. I would want a user manual which is published, created, designed by Apple to use my Apple phone. Very basic. Now, when a person there are several copies and versions and commentaries of Bhagavad Gita available, and it's sometimes really confusing for people to say, okay, which one should I choose? And what one should look at is what's the motivation of the writer to write a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. So look at the author and try to see what's his motivation. His motivation could be I want to earn money. I want to write because my friend wrote one, so I'll just write one. Or I want to kill time. Or could be anything else. And what's the motivation that we are looking for is who produced the human form of life? Like who produced my Apple phone, my iPhone, Apple. So who produced the human form of life? God. So I want to use the user manual I know is coming from him. And now that's $1 million question. How do I know that the version of Bhagavad Gita commentary that I'm using is authentic, is given to me by God, is spoken by Krishna? So let's see if we can solve that mystery or $1 million question. So, which one to pick? The one spoken by Krishna. And how do I know? I would encourage you to go browse through these links and do a little research and see what you find. But here's my answer. Bhagavad Gita is a user manual, and it has to come from the person who produced the human form of life. And how do I know? I know by the motivation of the person who has written this Bhagavad Gita is carried on in disciplic succession from um, from Krishna onwards. So it's I usually go to this version of Bhagavad Gita. It's in the Veda base, and if I'm scrolling down for you in the introduction of this Bhagavad Gita, and if we see in the introduction, you see something called a disciplic succession. What's a disciplic succession? It's it's something like being carried on from one person to another, the another to the next person. So the knowledge is being passed on from Krishna to Lord Brahma, from Lord Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasa to Madhva, from Madhva to Padmanabha, and like this, going forward, the user manual of how to live a human life is being passed on very carefully from Krishna down to us, what Srila Prabhupada has written. So, what I'm sharing with you, the link is a commentary written by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and this link is at the end of the introduction. It shows you a disciplic succession, that the knowledge that was given by Krishna was handed over in disciplic succession, and is being presented to us by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And his motivation, if you read the introduction, it will tell you his motivation is, he says, even if one person can understand this Bhagavad Gita and become a devotee of Krishna, which is the goal of life, I will consider my version of Bhagavad Gita as successful. So the motivation is not to earn money. The motivation is not to kill time. The motivation is not to write because somebody else wrote it, but the motivation is to pass on the knowledge that was given by Krishna to today's population. That's that's my understanding and my study of Bhagavad Gita that I have learned, and I have benefited immensely by reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we call him Srila Prabhupada. So you can go check out the links. You can leave me comments, questions if you have any. Happy to answer them. Take care. We'll talk again. Bye.